Welcome to Unapologetically Fly, the podcast dedicated to giving you the tools, inspiration, and information you need to finally live for yourself, no matter the age, situation, or circumstance. I'm your host, Renee Mitchell-Simpson, the self-love and happiness coach and founder of Well Diva Lifestyle and Travel, the premier luxury wellness travel sisterhood for the flyest of aunties. Now get ready to ride along on my journey of reinvention, even at this big age, because sis, I need you to know it truly is never too late to fly. And by fly, I mean finally live for yourself. Hey, it's 7 p.m. No, it's not. All right. Hey, welcome to another exciting episode of Unapologetically Fly. And I haven't done a solo episode in a minute. I kind of ran out of guests, so I'll get some guests soon. But anyway, I felt like I needed to give y'all an update. You know, this is about unapologetically fly, unapologetically finally living for yourself, right? So, as a woman who is now officially legally divorced after a 20-year marriage, I'm finally dating, right? I may have mentioned on another episode, I've only been on 1 or 2 dates. Okay, 2. Definitely 2 or more. But anyway, less than 5. And I wanted to just give an update because I hear so much about dating, especially in Atlanta, being just not good these days. My first episode, which was a year ago, last October, the first episode, Venice came on, the boldness coach, and she talked about dating. And I told her I'd heard that there was pee in the dating pool. People always say that. So I'm finally out here checking it out myself. That was my most popular episode. I think not just because it was my first episode, also because Venice is very engaging and interesting to listen to, but also the topic. So it seems like a lot of people want to know about it. Now, I'm in my 50s and dating is interesting. So I wanted to give y'all an update and share some of the things. I got a list of the things I've been dealing with out here, y'all. So here we go. Okay. I've met some nice men, some really nice men. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, but I feel like it's really all in what you expect. People who keep saying, dating is bad and complaining about it. I mean, I am a firm believer that you're going to get more of what you expect. You're going to get more of what you focus on. So if you expect it to be a really bad experience, that's what you're going to have. I really believe that. But I have had some interesting experiences, but I believe also that we attract a lot of what we are. And we also attract what we are so we can see what we're looking like, okay? Because a lot of people are not self-aware. So when you attract something that really irritates you, it might be just a reflection of what you're putting out there. And you also attract the lessons that you need to learn. And you also attract examples of what you want to make sure you're not being and doing. So with each one of these, I kind of have to go through and figure out what was I supposed to get out of that. But I'm happy to share some of these because some of them just really tickle me. All right. So one, I don't know his name. Met this gentleman online. Most of these are online because I really just don't get out the house much. But anyway, met this gentleman online. Have no idea what his name was. I mean, like if we don't stay in touch, I don't even remember you. But this man, we met online. We talked on the phone one time. I thought it was a great conversation. I felt like, I enjoyed talking to him. I felt like we clicked. We had some interesting things to share. And it's getting hot in here. Hold on. I'm going to have to turn on my fan. Okay. So anyway, we, shared some interesting things on the phone. We talked maybe 20 minutes. And he said he wanted to meet. And I think He just said he wanted to meet. He didn't say where, he didn't say when, anything. No, this is what he said. He said, so let me know, if you like to get together. And I said, yes, I would. And he said, okay, well, just let me know. And I said, I'm letting you know now. I said, I enjoyed talking to you, and sure, yes, I'd like to meet you. I'm practicing vulnerability here because I ain't the one. Okay, just ain't something I do. So I'm trying to, speak my mind and be upfront and be bold. And, I'm like, yes, I enjoyed our conversation. So he says, okay, well, just let me know when you want to get together, something like that. I don't even remember if he said, let me know when. I feel like he just kept saying, let me know. And so what I said was, I said, well, I'm going to let you take the lead as the man. And, and I don't know if I said as the man, but maybe I did. And that just set him off. I don't know. But I remember us saying, I'm going to let you take the lead and tell me when you'd like to get together. My schedule is very flexible. And I knew then that I wasn't going to hear from him because he repeated my words back to me. And I remember him saying, oh, so you're going to let me take the lead. And I'm real good at picking up energy. I could read your tone. I hear your words. So I knew then that it was not a good thing. But I guess I didn't care enough to ask why. Because it's like, you know what? If you don't want to be the man and take the lead, then we don't need to meet. So I kind of just let it go. But he was like, so you want me to take the lead and let you know? And I said, yeah, sure. Yeah, I would like that. And then he said, okay. And that was the end of the conversation. I'll talk to you soon or whatever. I never heard from him again, and I never expected to. Very weird. Whatever. So that was one. Then this other one, y'all, this one really tripped me out. This one was really crazy. So met this dude online, and you know what? A lot of these guys, their profiles are there. I'll be online for usually about a week or two, and then I'll just be like, you know what? I don't have time for this. I'll cancel everything and I'll come back maybe 2-3 months later. The same guys are still there. And this guy, it was a bad experience. I blocked him, and then every time I go back on, he's there again. He connects with me. He sends me a message, but he doesn't remember because he's just beautiful smile or whatever, hey, like to talk to you, whatever. And I always block him. I've blocked this guy at least 3 times. But anyway, so this dude, I guess I must have liked something in his profile. We chatted a little bit. And then I sent this Negro my number, y'all. And do you know, this Negro called me at 5 in the morning. And it might have been 4:45, but it was early. It was 5, at the latest 5:15 in the morning. And so I looked at the phone. And I answered the phone because I was like, what kind of medical emergency is somebody having that they calling me at 5 in the morning? Because my daughter is here in the house with me. My parents are deceased. So I'm like, what could this possibly be? So I was kind of curious, and I was already awake. Otherwise, I probably would not have even caught the call. And I answered the phone, and this Negro starts complaining that he tried to reach me the night before and I didn't answer. And so when he tried to reach me the night before, it was 10:30. I go to bed early. I tried to call you before, you didn't answer. I sent a text, you didn't answer. He's like, this is how he introduces himself. He's fussing. And I'm like, I said, well, oh, Lord, it's kind of fuzzy because it just really pissed me off. But I said something like, isn't it a little early to be calling? And he said, well, I don't know what time you work. Oh my God. And I said, well, I would assume that, I said, well, most people know not to call somebody this early. Well, how am I supposed to know that? I don't know your schedule. I don't even know, something like that. His voice goes up. He starts yelling. And so at this point, I don't know what I said. I said something like, I said, well, my apology, and I know that was wrong, but I'll get back to that in a minute, okay? But I said something like, my apology, I shouldn't make an assumption about you. You're right, I don't know you. And he keeps yelling at me. And I said, I don't think this is gonna work. And he said, you're right, it ain't gonna work. Like, he really had this funky attitude. And at that point, of course, I hung up, click and block. I let that go on way too long, but I'll get back to why I believe that happened. Like I said, all this stuff happens for a reason. It's for you to get a lesson out of it. And so I make sure any bull crap I go through like this, I'm gonna get something out of it, right? Okay. So then, let's see, the next one, I made a list of these because these are so funny and interesting. Then I get one very handsome gentleman. I'm like, ooh. He says, I mean, no disrespect, but you can get it. So I'm like, is that what they doing out here? So I wrote back and I said, by get it, and I think I put quotes, by get it, if you mean your wallet, where should I meet you? And I didn't wait for him to write back. I just ended up canceling my account because I was kind of traumatized from between that one and the other one that called me at 5 a.m. Shortly after that, I deleted the account. Okay. So let's see. Then I also had this happened a couple of times where they send you a message and you're like not sure how to answer and it takes you a minute. And so like I've gotten these messages and then I come back like the next day to answer and they're gone. Okay. So I think maybe the ego is affected and, I didn't respond fast enough and they think, yeah, I don't know what they think. Ain't none of my business what they think. But that has happened a couple of times where I was actually going to, like they want to meet. They say, let's meet. And I'm stopping to think about it. And then when I go back to respond, they're gone. So then I had one that canceled the day we were supposed to meet. I never found out why. I asked him what was the issue. He never said. So I don't know what that was about. And then there's the one that I actually did meet. We went on a date. We had a nice time. We talked on the phone quite a bit, like a couple of weeks. And he was like the nicest, kindest, most gentle gentleman that I've encountered in a long time. And I say a long time, I was married, so I haven't encountered too many. So let's put it like that. But he really was a nice guy. But the one thing that kind of like turned me off was that he told me that he hadn't read a book in like 30 years. And I don't know, I'm a learner and I'm about growth and personal development. And that was just really a turnoff for me. Like, you haven't read any books, like nothing. You haven't learned things. Like, I know you can learn from life, but I don't know. It just kind of turned me off. So, but I still, we still continue to talk. And I tried to just kind of watch for other things. And then something else came up. He started talking about going on a trip, wanted me to go on this trip with him. And I was like, yeah, I might be interested in going on a trip. And he's like, this is his dream trip. He's always wanted to go. And I'm like, it's not a place I would want to go. Like, it wasn't on my list. But to hang out with you, spend time with you, get to know you, sure, that might be fun. And then he starts explaining how the last girl he dated, she didn't want to pay for her part of the trip. And so I'm like, wait a minute, you want me to get off my couch, close my laptop, shut down my business for X number of days to accompany you on your dream destination, and I need to pay for my part of it? Like, I don't have a part of it because it wasn't my idea, it wasn't my trip. I wasn't even going. Like, how did I get a part? So yeah, that was it. And so after that, I let him know that, this ain't gonna work. And it ended very, very nicely, though, amicably, because I could tell, it was mutual. So that was cool. All right, so now let me get on to another topic. White guys. Something I've never done. Never dated a white guy, never looked at a white guy. But lately, like there was a time, I remember one time, I think I was at work and I told this girl, oh, there was a guy came in looking for you. And she's like, oh, I wonder who it was. Was he, she's trying to figure out, was this guy, that guy? And then she's like, was he cute? And I said, I don't know. He was white. Like, I totally did not look at white dudes. But now I do. Like, I notice them. So I was at an event recently and I had on this beautiful gown. It was a gala event. I went by myself and I'm standing there in the reception area where they have the little tables that you stand and, you just stand there and have your drink. And I'm just standing there having my drink and I'm people watching. I'm enjoying it, like looking at what everybody's wearing. And I look over here and there's like 3 or 4 people at a table. And all of a sudden they all walked away and left the one guy there. And he looked over at me and I smiled and he picked up his drink and walked over. And we proceeded to talk for maybe, 20 minutes or so. We had a really good conversation. And he was cute. He was really cute. And then it was time to go into the actual event. And we were not seated at the same table. So he did say, he said something like, I'm really glad I met you, something like that. And he said something like, I hope we get to sit together, something like that. Y'all, the whole time though, I was not sure if this guy was just talking to me or if he was interested in me. I could not figure it out. Now in retrospect, he could have been interested. But the only thing, y'all, this dude was like maybe 20 years younger than me. Possibly 30 years younger than me. I think he was probably 20, 25 years younger. And so, yeah, I don't know about that. So anyway, we went into the event. He went to his table, I went to mine, and I saw him again. And he walked like right in front of me. And I know, and I don't want to call him this Negro, but I like to say that. But I know this Negro saw me. He walked like right in front of me. And I think he was trying to see if I was going to say something. And I didn't. I just went on the other way about my business. I don't know. I'm silly like that. So I think we both, I'm going to talk in a minute about what I think that was. Okay. So then let's see. Oh, there's another white guy. I get on the plane and I had some pain because my gallstone was cutting up and I was in pain, y'all. And I sit down and I pull out like some pain medication to take, and I'm struggling to get it open. And the guy next to me, white guy, just reaches over and grabs it and opens it and hands it back. And I'm like, okay, Daddy. And so this is an older white man, okay? He might have been my age or older. And so then the stewardess hands me a bottle of water. So I have the water and I have the payment, and he just reached over and opened the water like he was just taking care of me. Like then I was like trying to take my jacket off. He reaches over to help me take the jacket. He is just totally taking care of me. And I told him, I said, you know what, you are an angel. Thank you. Again, I don't know if this man was flirting, if he was interested, or if he was just a nice person. I totally just didn't get it. I don't know. I guess I'll never know because we didn't keep in touch or anything like that. So, yeah. So I've heard since, though, that white guys will not be as obvious when they're interested as black men. So that's something to learn that I had no idea. So good to know. Okay, then one more white guy, y'all. Met this white guy online. And this was really interesting. He had a quote in his profile from the Shawshank Redemption, which I have a quote in my profile from the Shawshank Redemption. Like that's like my favorite movie. So I was like, oh, that really got my attention. And then he had another quote in his profile from another movie, and it was a quote that I had actually said earlier that day in one of my videos. So that like totally got my attention. And I fully believe in serendipity. Like I don't believe coincidence. I believe that when things like that happen, it's to get your attention and you need to move in that direction and investigate. So I sent him a message, y'all. I was bold, okay? And I said, you know, blah, blah, blah. I saw your quotes, da, 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 whatever. He writes back and he says, because he had already, I think he had already liked me. So when I wrote him back, that means I like him too, right? So he said, or no, I can't remember, y'all. He might not have liked me, but in the end, we both liked each other because we both were communicating. So he says, you know, oh, I saw your quote before you even wrote me, and I was gonna say something. And he said, I think that we're a perfect match, or something like that. Yeah, he's something like, I think we'd be a perfect match. I think you're beautiful. But the distance is a problem for me. Y'all, this man is 40 minutes from me. Like 40 minutes. And with traffic, 50. Like 50 minutes, 55 tops, right? So I'm like, huh? So I said, are you actually in whatever area he said he was in? And, I was thinking maybe he's moved or something. And he wrote back, he's like, yes, and aren't you in such and such area? And I was like, yes. And so he said something like, well, I believe in order to be in a monogamous, passionate relationship or something like that, two people need to live really closer than that or something like that, need to be close. So I'm like, okay, you trying to just be dropping by or something? Because I do not want nobody closer than 40 minutes thinking that you could just, come knock on my door at any time. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that was all about. And I responded with, that distance isn't a problem for me, but if it is for you, okay, it is what it is. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation, the communication. But to say you think I'm a perfect match, I don't know. I'm thinking he just said that because he thought I was further away. Y'all let me know what you think of that one because that was strange. All right, so that's been my, as Venice would say, dating chronicles. Okay, I think that's been pretty much it. That's all that kind of stands out. I do have one friend that I've gone out on a couple of dates with, and I say friend because it feels more like friendship, and we have great conversation. But yeah, that feels more like a friend. But that's pretty much it. I am accepting gentlemen callers. I said that before, so I know some of y'all watch my videos. You're lurking. You need to say something. I've been sitting up here on this couch. I'd like to get out the house sometimes. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to say, I mentioned earlier about why I said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and blah blah blah. I feel like that has to do with attachment style, okay? Everybody talks about what's your love language. Even in the dating profiles, people will list their love language. And that is good to know someone's love language. I don't know what we really do with that though. Like, do we actually try to love them according to their love language? Or do we try to love them according to our own love language? I don't know. I mean, it would be nice to match up in that area. I guess that would be ideal. But I think more important than love language is we need to know each other's attachment style. And I'm kind of new to this. I've been looking into it for actually a long time, but I've been digging more deeply into it recently. And there are 4 attachment styles, and the attachment styles will really reveal to you a lot about how your relationship is going to go. And, the attachment styles are secure, anxious, preoccupied. Hold on, why my computer want to cut up? For real? The nerve. Okay, so the 4 attachment styles are secure, anxious, preoccupied, fearful, avoidant, and dismissive, avoidant. And I'm going to go over them. So these attachment styles are based on your upbringing because your personality was formed in your first few years of life. Like the first 5 years, really vital. First 9 years, things can still be, can really affect you. But those first 5 years are like really, really crucial. And so if you experienced any trauma, and we all have, but lasting trauma, significant trauma during that time, it's going to really affect your attachment style, the way you relate to people, particularly in romantic relationships. Or maybe in all relationships, but I'm focused on romantic relationships right now. So your caregivers, how they treated you, how they related to you, really, really will determine this. So a secure attachment style, you're going to have healthy boundaries. You're going to feel secure in your relationships. And you're going to be, you're not going to need a lot of validation. You're going to be trusting. I feel like that's how I was before I got married. Now that I think about it. Although I don't know, I was always somewhat avoidant. Now that I think about it. But I think I was much more secure. All right, so anyway, secure is you're securely attached. You don't really have too much anxiety or avoidance in your relationships. Anxious, preoccupied. That's when you tend to lack trust. Maybe there was a reason for you to not trust in your past, and you bring that into your current and future relationships if you don't correct it. And this is why you have the same type of relationship over and over again. It's not them, it's you. You are attracting that same thing into your life, okay? So you lack trust if you're anxious, preoccupied. You may thrive on a chase. So if the person is, constantly dismissing you, you may thrive on that. You may enjoy that, where were you? I didn't hear from you. I couldn't find you, that kind of mess. and you may be insecure and needing a lot of reassurance. Then we have dismissive avoidant. And I'm very familiar with this one because, yeah, I've been in this kind of relationship where you're very guarded about your feelings. You're not going to let anybody get too deeply emotionally involved. You may have a fear of commitment. And you are independent to the point of hyper independent. Okay, you don't want to depend on another person because you want to be prepared for when they leave. And that's why you don't get too attached. Dismissive avoidant. And that may come from a family breakup when you were young, like one of the parents or both of the parents may have abandoned you or you felt abandoned, okay? So that's dismissive avoidant. And then fearful avoidant, or also called disorganized avoidant. I feel like this one is me. Y'all, I wish I was that secure attached, but I don't think I am yet. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it. Fearful avoidant, disorganized avoidant, or disorganized attachment can be high in anxiety and avoidance. So kind of goes back and forth. I definitely do not feel like I am high in anxiety, but I know I can be avoidant. But anyway, this person that's fearful avoidant may fear rejection. And let's see, they desire close relationships, but at the same time are fearful of them. So that is me. So not so much the anxiety part. I don't really feel that. I'll get back to that in a minute because some thoughts are coming up here. But anyway, yeah. Desire close relationship. I definitely desire close relationship, but definitely afraid of them. I'm going to admit that. Like, that's why I say I'm learning to be vulnerable and speak my mind. I'm working on that. So when I said with the dude that I was apologetic, I felt like that triggered me to my past relationship where I really just was like trying to keep the peace. So when he starts yelling at me, I was like, okay, well, my bad. I apologize. This shit was not my bad. But just out of habit, I was triggered to just calm the situation. And so that would be the anxious part. Okay. And then I said, what was I saying about the other person? Yeah, I don't forgot. I said I was going to get back to that. And now I remember what it was. Hold on. Oh, the guy who at the gala event, so he walked by. He was trying to see if I was going to follow him. And I felt like that was being dismissive avoidant. Because really all he had to do was come over and say, hey, do you want to dance? Because people were walking to the dance floor. Instead, he walks and stands in front of me. And like, I know you see me, but anyway. So he was being dismissive avoidant, and I guess I too was being dismissive avoidant. So wasn't nothing getting ready to happen there. He went his way, I went mine. So it's all good. All right. So anyway, the thing is that in order to heal these type of wounds, you really have to be in relationship with somebody. And that's why when I'm sitting here alone on my couch and in my living room, I'm so at peace. Like, oh, we just love our peace, ladies, right? That peace comes sometimes from not having nobody to be bothered with. So if you ever want to heal those wounds, you have to get in some sort of relationship. It's just a matter of who you get involved with. Like, they can't be so broken that they don't know anything's wrong with them and that they don't care to heal. Both people have to want to heal their wounds in order for it to work. So listen for that type of language where, well, I just am who I am. This is how I've always been. That's somebody that's not ready to move forward and heal. So you definitely don't want to be getting involved with that. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, being in a relationship is going to trigger the things that you need to surface in order for you to heal them. So that's where I am now. I still have my dating profiles up. I probably will take them down again real soon because I'm trying to focus on school. And so I go back and forth with that. And I think that I'm going to try to get out of the house more, and because it's nice to actually meet people face to face. That whole meeting them and then trying to get them on the phone and then trying to meet up with it's like it can be exhausting. So I think it can be a lot easier when you can encounter people in person. So that just requires me getting out the house. So I'll be working on that. So anyway, that's it. That's my dating update, my dating chronicles, as Venice would say. All right. Anything you want to share in the comments, feel free to leave that for me. You got any funny dating stories? I love to know about those. And I thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Now be sure to like, subscribe, share with your besties, and tell me what topics would you like more of in the comments below, so I know I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. I also invite you to join me in the Well Divas on one of our unapologetically fly wellness travel experiences. Visit welldiva.com and select someplace wonderful to meet up with us. Until next time, stay unapologetically fly.